topic, gravitational potential. So this is Vg. So what is this gravitational potential? The gravitational potential is defined as the gravitational potential energy of a particle of unit mass. So we know Vg is equal, what is the gravitational potential energy? If you take a two particle system, just now we derived this one, minus capital G, capital M, small m by r is the gravitational potential energy between two particles. Remember, potential energy is related always to a system, not for a single particle. So by unit mass, so that mass 1 kg, 1 kg, that cancel. This is capital G, capital M by r. So this is the gravitational potential. So what is the unit for this one? We know that small g, capital M by r. Instead of writing the unit for capital G, capital M, r, you just write this is the energy per unit mass. Energy is measured in joules, this one, and mass is measured in kg. So the SI unit for gravitational potential is joule per kg, and the dimensional formula for this one is ml square T minus 2 by mass m. This is L square T minus 2. Now we are going to solve a problem based on this gravitational potential energy and gravitational potential. Now the problem is, find the potential energy of system of four particles placed at the vertices of a square of side L. Here this side is L. Also obtain the potential at the center of the square. So what is the potential at the center of this square they are asking? First of all, let me find out the potential energy of the system. The potential energy of two masses, we call it as gravitational potential energy of two masses is given by minus capital G, capital M, small m by r for two particles. But here, how many masses are present in this one? You can see here these two can be taken as a system. So these two are one system, these two are one more system, these two are one more system, these two are one more system. So there are four masses which are placed at four corners of this one. So now the first system is this one, second system is this one, third system this one, fourth system this one. Not only these four, even these two masses will produce a system, and these two one more system. Now from this, how many pairs of masses are there? Here, even though four masses are present, 6 pairs are present here. Now let me take this particle as 1, 2, 3, 4. So what is U, potential energy between 1 and 2? So minus capital G, m into m, because both are having same masses. Distance between these two is L. So what is 1, 2, 3 for those two? For these two masses, this will minus G, m by L. What is U, 3, 4 minus G, m by L, and U 4, 1 is minus G, m by L. So these are the four pairs at the four corners. Now the diagonal opposite corners. So this will be U 1, 3, which is going to be minus G, m by. We know that this is a right angle triangle. If it is L, this will become root over L square plus L square 2L square root 2L. So this will be root 2L. Similarly U 2, 4, which is also capital G, m by root 2L. So what is the total gravitational potential energy of the system? Here it is given by, the total potential energy is given by potential energy of 1, 2, potential energy of 2, 3, potential energy of 3, 4, potential energy of 4, 1, potential energy of 1, 3, potential energy between 2 and 4. This is given by, these four are similar. So which is going to be minus gm square by L, minus gm square by L, minus gm square by L, minus gm square by L. So sum of these four will become minus 4 gm square by L plus, what is the energy, sum of these two energies, minus gm square by root 2L minus gm square root 2L minus gm square minus 2 minus gm square by root 2l. So what is common here? The common terms are minus capital Gm square by L. The remaining terms are 4 here. There minus 2 by root 2. But already I took minus common here. So I can take this one. So this will become minus Gm square by L. This is 4 plus, this is root 2 get cancelled, 1 by root 2. Now, what is 1 by root 2 value? 1 divided by, this is 0.707. So, sorry, this is root 2 can be written as root 2 into root 2. These two cancel root 2. So, this will become minus Gm square by L. This 2 can be written as root 2 into root 2. Root 2 get cancelled. This is 4 plus root 2. So 4 plus root 2. So minus Gm square by L square into root 2 is 1.414 plus 4. This is 5.414. But as it is energy, the answer for this one is minus Gm square by L square 5.414 joules. So the total potential energy of the system is given by U minus 5.414 Gm square by L. So this is the potential energy of the system. Now we need potential at the center of the square. How to find the potential at the center of the square? To find out the potential, I need to find out the potential energy at the center divided by unit mass. So whenever we are finding the potential, just to assume that a unit mass is placed at that point. Here center is the point. So at the center, if I consider a particle of 1 kg mass here at the center. So whenever a 1 kg mass is placed here, 1 kg. So what is the potential energy of these two? Now this is L. If it is L, this will become L by 2. This is also L by 2. This is L by root 2. Now, what is the potential energy of these two masses? So, how many pairs are there? One pair, second pair, third pair, fourth pair. Only the potential energy here due to this particle. So, I am not going to consider these two masses, these two masses, these two pair, these two pair. Only first pair, second pair, third pair, fourth pair. So, the total potential energy at the center is given by 4 times of minus capital G, product of the masses, m into this, that is m into 1, because this is a unit mass, and distance is L by root 2. This is the total potential at the center. Now, the total potential center can be written as this L by root 1 goes up minus 4 root 2 Gm by L. So, this is the total potential energy of the particle which is placed at the center whose mass is equal to unit mass 1 kg. Now, the gravitational potential is given by at center is given by energy of the system at center by unit mass. So, this by 1 means you will get the same value 4 root 2 Gm by L. So, this is the gravitational potential at the center of this square. Next topic, escape speed. We know that if you throw a body from the surface of earth with some velocity u, so this will go up to some distance and then it falls back. So we know we derived this equation also, equation for the maximum height reached by a body. So this is the maximum height reached by the body. So h max is given by u square by 2g. Now h, height reached by this body or maximum height reached by this body directly proportional to square of the distance. If distance is doubled, height reached by the body will become quadrupled, because u square will become 2u square, 4u square, so this will become 4 times. Now, such that if you throw a body with triple the velocity 3u, the height reached will become 9h max. So, question is, if you throw a body such that it will go up and never reaches the ground, or whether let us say it is moving in that place only, or it reaches that point and never comes back onto the surface of earth. Is it possible to give that high speed so that body never falls back onto the surface of earth? If it is possible, that velocity with which we can throw a body such that it never falls back onto the surface of earth is called escape speed. So minimum speed of a body with which a body should be projected so that it never comes back to the surface of earth is called escape velocity. Now, how to find the magnitude of the escape velocity of this body? So, what is that minimum velocity required for this body to go up and never comes back to the surface of earth? Here, what I am going to take, so this is our earth of radius r, mass m, and a body is thrown from a height h above the surface of earth. So this is the height h above the surface of earth. If this body of mass m is thrown such that it escapes from the gravitational pull of earth and reaches a point here. So here the velocity at this point is v initial and velocity at this point is v final. Now, what is the total energy of this body when it is thrown upwards? The body will have both the kinetic energy and potential energy. Here also body will have both the kinetic energy and potential energy. So let me take this point as A, this point as B. So we know that from law of conservation of energy, total energy at A is equal to total energy at B. What is the total energy at A in this case? The total energy is sum of kinetic energy and potential energy. Velocity VA, so kinetic energy will become half m VI square plus, what is the potential energy here? Just now we derived this potential energy, minus capital G, capital M, small m by, that is capital G is the universal gravitational constant, m is the mass of earth, small m is the mass of the body. Distance between these two is, this is r plus h, so this will become r plus h. This is the total potential energy of the system. Now, what is the total energy at infinity? So this is half m v final square minus, so this will be capital G, capital M, small m by, let us say that is at infinite distance. Now something by infinity is always 0. So now what I am going to write, half m vi square minus capital G, capital M, small m by r plus h is equal half m v f square. This is expression 1 by using law of conservation of energy. Now, what are the minimum values of this one? You know that if you give the minimum velocity here, it will go there and finally it may stop there or it may move with some velocity so that it never comes back to the surface of earth. So what is the minimum velocity here? The minimum velocity should become 0. So if it is 0, if this value Vf is 0, this total expression will become 0. So this will become half m Vi square minus capital G, capital M, small m by r plus h is equal to 0. So these are, because I need to find out the minimum speed here. So for this to be minimum, this value should be minimum. So this capital G, capital small m are always constant, r is constant, h can be taken any value, but I am talking about the minimum velocity. So for this value to be minimum, this would be minimum. So the minimum value of the kinetic energy, the highest point will become 0. So now from this what I am going to write, half m Vi square is equal, when it goes that side, capital G, capital M, small m by r plus h. Now from this, if you cancel this m and m here, so this 2 will go that side. Initial velocity square is equal to gm by r plus h. So if you bring this one that side, this will become root. So this in minimum velocity or the speed with which the body has to be projected upwards is called escape speed. In some cases it can be known as escape velocity, but we have to call it as escape speed only. Why? Because body cannot move exactly in a straight line. Sometimes if you throw this one, it may move along a curved path also. So this is the escape speed of the body here. Now, if the body is not projected from a height, let us say it is projected from the surface of earth. If the body is projected from the surface of earth, then this h will become 0 because body is projected from somewhere here. So what is the escape velocity now? The escape velocity in this case is given by Ve is equal root over 2gm by r only, because h will become 0. So this is the escape velocity which is given by root 2gm by r. Here what are the known values for us? We know that 2 is a constant, g 6.67 into 10 power minus 11. Mass of earth generally it is 6 in 10 power 24 kg. Radius of earth 6400 into 10 power 3 under root. If you substitute all these values, finally you will get the escape velocity on the surface of earth is given by 11.2 kilometer per second. That is 11.2 into 1000, 11200 meter per second. That means if you throw a body such that it travels 11.2 kilometers in 1 second, then this body never comes on the surface of earth. Now, this is the escape velocity of escape speed of this body on the surface of earth. Now, instead of earth, if you consider moon here, let us say this is our moon. If you consider moon, so what is the escape velocity on the surface of moon? Once again, the escape velocity or the speed on the surface of moon is given by root over 2gm by r, where m is mass of moon, r is radius of the moon. This is the radius of the moon, this is mass of moon. And if you substitute all these values, you can find that this will be 2.3 kilometer per second. So it is easy for anybody to escape from the surface of moon than to escape from the surface of earth. Now, you see this one. If you keep a hydrogen particle or any gas particle here on the surface of moon, this is moon, the root mean square or average speed of most of the gases is around 5.4 kilometer per second. Now, if you keep a gas particle here, hydrogen gas particle, now it can move with a speed of 5.4 kilometer per second. But how much speed is required for this to escape from the surface of moon? Only 2.3. But this gas particle can move from this one with a speed of 5.4 kilometer per second. That means a gas particle which is escaped from the surface of moon will never comes back onto the surface of moon. Why? Because there the escape velocity is only 2.3 kilometer per second. So that's why there is no atmosphere on the surface of moon. This is a 1 mark, very very important question. Why there is no atmosphere on surface of moon? Why? There is no atmosphere on the surface of moon. Why? Because the escape velocity on the surface of moon, escape speed is equal to 2.3 kilometer per second. But gases have an average velocity of gases is around 5.4 kilometer per second. So if you keep any amount of gas here, it can move with a speed of 5.4, which is much greater than this 2.3 kilometer per second. So this is very high. So due to this, all the gases which are present on this moon, that means previously, or even if you keep some gases here, they escape very easily. That's why there is no atmosphere on the surface of moon. Hi students, today's topic is about satellites. What are these satellites? Satellites are the bodies that revolves around another body. But our topic is only about Earth satellites. So what are these Earth satellites? The objects or the bodies that revolves around the Earth are known as Earth satellites. If you consider our Earth here, this is our Earth. Generally, satellites will be projected from launching pads with the help of rockets. So they will be projected upwards. So as when the velocity is given, if the velocity is very small u, then this will go up and comes back and reaches the Earth. If the velocity increases, then the height reached by the satellite will be more. Why? Because we know the formula for maximum height. Maximum height is equal to u square by 2g. So here, whenever you increase this initial velocity, the maximum height reached by the satellite will be more. Now, if you project this satellite such that it never comes back on the surface of Earth, generally what happens, if it is thrown like this, it will go and it will fall down, and as this one, it may move in this path. It is possible only if the satellite is thrown such that it will be having two equal and opposite forces acting on this one. So here, if it is thrown like this, it will move, it will reach a point, and then due to the force of attraction between these two, then it will start rotating around the Earth. So this velocity of this satellite that revolves around the Earth is called orbital velocity. So what is this orbital velocity? The velocity of a satellite in its orbit is called orbital velocity. Remember, if you take a tower here, from the tower if you throw a body horizontally, it will reach like this. This moves in a parabolic path. This already we discussed in motion in straight line. Now, if you throw it to a large velocity, then it will move and it will strike ground somewhere here. This is point A1, this is point A2. But if you throw or project with a large velocity, then instead of coming back to this one, it will rotate in this path. So this is the orbit of that satellite. Now, most of the countries have the capacity of sending or launching these satellites nowadays. Previously, in 1957, Russia sent the first satellite into the space. So this is a Sputnik. You might have heard about this one. But India, they sent the satellite Aryabhatta, first artificial satellite. But with the help of Russia only. Why? Because when we send this Aryabhatta, we don't have the facility of launching this satellite from India. So we launched this satellite from Russian country. So in 1975, when the Aryabhatta is launched, we don't have the facilities to launch these satellites. Afterwards, India also developed the technique of sending these satellites. Remember, to send these satellites, we need a rocket. So when the rocket moves into the space, into the atmosphere, after reaching 193 kilometers, generally this rocket will project some more small rockets. So that this will move in the horizontal path. That means up to 193 kilometers, it will move along a straight line or vertically upwards. After that, these small rockets will give the horizontal velocity to this one. So this technique was used by all the countries previously, even now. In around 2005 onwards, India also producing this fuel required for launching these satellites. That fuel is called cryogenic fuel. Then afterwards, we are sending rockets only from Sriharikota in Andhra Pradesh. Now, how to find the orbital velocity of the satellite that is orbiting around the Earth? So for this, we need Newton's laws as well as Newton's law of gravitation. So based on this one, we can find the orbital velocity of a satellite. Now, so for this, what I am going to do, so this is our Earth, whose radius is r, mass of this one is m. When it is launched into this one, let us say it is moving in the horizontal direction. So now, once it reaches this horizontal velocity, then it starts moving in the circular path around the Earth. So when this satellite is revolving in this orbit, then two forces will be experienced by this satellite. One is towards the center of the Earth, one is away from this one, because if these two forces are equal, then only the body will get to the horizontal velocity. So what are the forces acting on this satellite now? One is downwards, the other one is upwards. We know that whenever a body is moving in a circular path, centripetal force is required. So who is providing the centripetal force for this body to move in the circular path? The centripetal force, the force that is acting towards the center. The centripetal force F is given by mv square by r, where r is the distance from center of earth to this point. Let us say the height of the satellite above the earth is h. Radius of the satellite, already we denoted this with r. So what is the distance between the center of this mass, center of earth to this satellite? So this I am going to write mass of the satellite m. The velocity with which it is rotating here is given by v naught, that is orbital velocity, square by this is r plus h. So the total distance between this and this point. So this is centripetal force. Now whenever a body moving like this, if one force is acting like this, opposite force will act, that is called pseudo force. So this is called centrifugal force. So this centrifugal force is exactly equal to centripetal force only. So this is the upward force. But here the centrifugal force is also equal to mv square by r plus h only. This is the outward force, centrifugal force. But who is providing this centripetal force? This centripetal force is provided by the gravitational force between the earth and the satellite, gravitational force. So in magnitude wise, these two are equal and opposite. Here it is clear. But what about this value? So let me take this one. If you consider only the magnitudes here, now we can write the centrifugal force which is acting outwards must be equal to the centripetal force which is acting towards the center. The centrifugal force is equal to m v naught square by r plus h, which is equal to centripetal force, this one, and this will be provided by the gravitational force of attraction, which is given by capital G, capital M, small m by r plus h whole square. This is the force of attraction between the satellite and earth. So now you can cancel this m and m. You can cancel this r plus h and r plus h. So v naught square is equal to gm by r plus h, or v naught is equal to root over gm by r plus h. So this is the orbital velocity of the satellite. Now if you know these values, g is equal to 6.67 into 10 power minus 11, mass of earth 6 into 10 power 24 kg, r is equal to 6400 kilometers, and h is equal to height of the satellite above the surface of earth. I already told you this will be around 190, 200 and 250 kilometers only. So this will be around, let us say, 200 kilometers. So under root. If you calculate this value, finally you will get this is around 7.98 kilometers per second, the orbital velocity of the earth satellite. I am talking only about the earth satellite. Earth has one natural satellite, that is a moon. So it will take 27.3 days to complete one revolution. But here I am not talking about the natural satellite. This is about artificial satellites. So this will be around 7.9 kilometer per second. That means per second it can travel around 8 kilometers. If the height above the surface of earth h is very small, then how this formula can be changed? So orbital velocity very nearer to earth, orbital velocity very close to earth surface is given by, so this is v naught is equal to, this will become root over gm, these two will not change, but the denominator r plus h, when h is very small, nearly equal to 0, this will become r. Then if you substitute these values, then you will get g 6.67 into 10 power minus 11, 6 into 10 power 24 by 6,400 kilometers. If you substitute all these values, then finally you will get the orbital velocity. This is around 7.98 or maybe 8. This will be 7.96. Very small value because this 200 kilometers is very small. It is in a denominator. So this is 7.96 kilometer per second. Now, when the orbit is very close to the earth, so here small g will be 9.8, here 9.6, here 9.4. As you go away from the earth, we know that small g changes from place to place. But here we are not using small g because height is not negligible in this case. But here height is negligible. That means this orbit is maybe around 2 kilometers height. If a satellite is revolving very close to the earth, then the orbital velocity will be this much. Then what is the time period of this one? Time period is given by 2 pi r by v naught. 2 pi r by v naught. So from this what we can write? 2 pi is constant. R is the radius of the orbit in which the satellite is revolving. This is r. This is negligible. So this will be r only. Because actually this is r plus h. But h is very very small. So you can take it as r only. Now this will become 2 pi r by, what is v naught? Root over gm by r. Now t will become 2 pi r root over r by gm. Squaring on both sides you will get t square is equal to 4 square, r square into r cube by gm. You can see this one. Finally we can write t square is equal to 4 pi square by gm into r cube. Already we discussed about this point in Kepler's laws of planetary motion. So from Kepler's laws of planetary motion, third law of periods, the square of the time period of a satellite or a body or a planet around the earth, around the sun, is directly proportional to the cube of the mean distance between the sun and the planet. That is applied for planets and the sun. But here the same expression which was given for planets can be applied even for satellites also. That means this is not only for satellites. You can use this expression for artificial satellites that are revolving around the earth. So in this case what we can write? This is the Kepler's third law. So from this we can write t square directly proportional to r cube. Why? Because 4 is a constant, pi square is also a constant value, capital G universal gas constant, m is the mass of the earth. So that's why we can write t square directly proportional to r cube. This is the third law of planetary motion. Now after this, now if the orbit is very close to the earth, then small g here 9.8, here also it will be nearly 9.8. So small g will not change. We know the relation between small g and capital G. Small g is equal to capital Gm by r square. So in place of Gm we can write gr square is equal to capital G capital M. Now based on this one we can write this formula as r, this formula, because h is very small, very close to the earth. H is negligible. H is negligible. Then this can be written as v naught is equal to root over gm by r can be written as root over, in place of gm I am going to write gr square into r. Remember, you can use this formula, you can replace gm with small g r square only if the point is very close to the earth. If the orbit is far away from the center of earth or surface of earth, we cannot use this formula. Then we have to use this formula only. Now r and r get cancelled. The orbital velocity is going to be root over small g into r. Even if you substitute this value, g is equal to 9.8, very nearer the surface of earth, r is equal to 6,400 kilometers, and by using this one, so we will get a similar value. So here I am going to find out this value by using calculator. This is 9.8 into 6400 into 1 under root. This will be 7.919. So this is similar to the 7.96. So these all these values are very nearer to 7.9 only. So this is how you can write the orbital velocity in terms of small g. But once again I am telling you, you can use this formula only if the orbit is very close to the surface of Earth. But most of the planets, these satellites are revolving at a height of around 200 kilometers. So then better to use this formula. Why? Because at 200 kilometers, small g will not be equal to 9.8. Then we can take capital G, because capital G value anywhere in this universe remains as 6.67 into 10 power minus 11 only. So that's why we can use this formula if the height is not 0. If height is 0 or nearly equal to 0, then we have to use either this formula or this formula. Now, sometimes they may ask you to find the relation between the escape speed and orbital speed, or escape velocity or orbital velocity. Then in the previous class, we studied about escape velocity, which is given by VE is equal to root over 2g m by r. So escape velocity is equal to root 2g m by r, and orbital velocity is given by root over g m by r. You can see this. This is nothing but root 2 into v naught. This v naught. If you multiply v naught with root 2, you will get this one. That's why the relation between escape speed and orbital speed is VE is equal to root 2 times of v naught. That means if a satellite is revolving with a velocity v naught here, this velocity, orbital velocity, if the velocity increases to root 2 times, if this velocity increases by root 2 times, then instead of moving in a circular orbit around the Earth, it will escape from the Earth's surface and never comes back onto the surface of Earth. So this is one of the important relation between escape velocity and orbital velocity.